Hello, my friends, and welcome back to 316 Exposure. My name is Steven. Today, we are going to continue the New World Order series, part 2, with a very clear focus on Bible prophecy and the connection to the NWO. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series, I highly recommend you do so. The coronavirus pandemic has caused many students of prophecy to wonder if world governments' efforts to combat the virus will involve the implementation of the mark of the beast. If they're going to make all the citizens of the earth line up to get a vaccine, it would be convenient timing also to dispense a microchip implant that would link them up to the 666 financial system. Microsoft co-founder and billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates has legally separated himself from his old company, but both entities are engaged in a mission that could work together. Gates is chomping at the bit to implement his long-awaited mandatory vaccination agenda. And what better catalyst for making it happen than the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19 crisis? Microsoft has created a device that could add a tracking code to mass vaccinations. It interacts with the pulse, temperature, and brain waves of the human body in order to engage the buying and selling of cryptocurrency. The ID 2020 implant would interact with a computer network system. Oddly enough, the publication number of this Microsoft patent is WO 2020-60606. WO, could that stand for World Order 2020-666? I don't know. I'll leave that one up to you. I mean, we've been through this before with the Apple company selling its first computer for $666.66. News about Gates and a potential vaccine for the novel coronavirus has been circulating for weeks on social media platforms. Gates got the ball rolling in mid-March as he participated in a Reddit AMA Ask Me Anything Q&A, where he encouraged a national tracking system for the coronavirus and some digital certificates to show who has recovered or been tested recently, or when we could have the vaccine, or who has received it. Scientific America reported in December that Gates had been funding efforts to create an invisible ink that could go into people's skin and see who's been vaccinated. A Massachusetts Institute of Technology bioengineer said that the ink could provide data that is useful in fighting disease around the world, noting, if we don't have good data, it really is difficult to eradicate the disease. A review by Media Matters stated that the conspiracy theory first seemed to gain traction around March 17th, when a YouTube video about the virus mischaracterized Gates' work to develop a trackable vaccine data as implanting everybody with a global ID, and compared it to tattoos on a Holocaust victim. Newsmax White House correspondent Emerald Robinson recently claimed that Gates wants to use vaccines to track people, while Fox News host Laura Ingraham, who has met with Trump to discuss the coronavirus, tweeted that Gates and other globalists want to use the crisis to track people. Gates' name appeared on protest signs meant to criticize Ohio's social distancing order, while former Trump advisor Roger Stone accused Gates of wanting to microchip people. Pro-Trump personalities and regular Trump White House guests, Diamond and Silk, have also pushed theories about Gates, tweeting that the Microsoft founder was operating on a secretive agenda to rule the world with a vaccine, and vowing not to take any coronavirus vaccine that Gates was involved with. I'm with you there. None of these reports about Gates will ever be reported positively by the liberal media, so few people know about the agenda. Since you would have to have an understanding of Bible prophecy to know the dangers of a vaccine that could be tracked, most people would think it's a good idea. Much of our modern technology could become very hazardous to our liberties if it was used by a despotic government. Apple and Google are working together on coronavirus tracking app. Smartphones already automatically exchange their identifier beacons with others. If someone tests positive for the coronavirus, the app can send a message to all smartphones that it came in contact with that person. Apple and Google say the app is voluntary in the beginning. But folks, I can promise you this, it will not be voluntary after they build it into the operating system software. The mark of the beast is no longer something of the future. I think China's social credit system is a working model of the number of the beast. The most important advice that anyone can give a person is to tell them to focus on their relationship with God by putting their faith in Jesus, repenting their sins, and drawing near to Him. The prophet Amos said, "Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but He revealeth His secret unto His servants and the prophets." Amos 3:7. I believe that God has allowed the current coronavirus crisis to reveal that the tribulation period and New World Order, world government, world religion, mark of the beast are close, and the need to draw near to God is urgent. Revelations 13:7-8. Notice how the following current events fit God's end-of-age revelations. According to the prophet John, the top religious leader in the tribulation period, the false prophet, will merge religion with politics. He will pretend to be a holy man, but support the anti-Christian government of the Antichrist, Revelations 13:11-12. On April 12, 2020, Easter Sunday, a day to focus on the resurrection of Jesus, Pope Francis released a letter supporting Universal Basic Income, UBI. UBI is the globalist world government idea that everyone on Earth should receive a basic income package, free money, free checks, wealth redistribution. UBI has been supported by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, Elon Musk, head of SpaceX and Tesla, Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, and Democratic presidential candidates Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, and others of note. My friends, this is a problem. If everyone receives a check from their government and they want to keep getting it, what will happen if their government decides to require them to take the mark, or the name, or the number of the Antichrist? Will people take the mark of the beast to keep receiving a government check and have the right to buy and sell, or will they refuse the check and perish? This is not far-fetched, because people will be denied the right to buy and sell, Revelations 13:16-17. And multitudes will be put to death during the tribulation period in refusing to take the mark, Revelations 24. Anyway, what possessed Pope Francis to talk about UBI on Resurrection Day instead of the resurrection of Jesus Christ? In September 2015, the UN adopted a document called Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The preamble of the document called it New Universal Agenda. The document calls for the establishment of a one-world government, a one-world religion, and a one-world economic system by 2030. On February 4, 2019, Pope Francis and Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb, perhaps the most important imam in Sunni Islam, met in Abu Dhabi to sign an interfaith document in the presence of leaders from all religions of the world. The document encourages peace between all religions and says all religions are the will of God and all religions are acceptable to God. On February 6, 2019, Pope Francis was back at the Vatican where he said the Islamic world and the Christian world will work together to promote common values. He said, "We commit ourselves to spreading authentic values and peace throughout the world." If Jesus is the only way to be saved, and he said he is, John 14:6, how can Pope Francis believe that all religions are acceptable to God when they don't believe Jesus died for the sins of the world? If the Bible is the Word of God, again, and it is, how can Pope Francis say that Christians and Muslims should work together to promote common values? Christian values come from the Bible, and they cannot be compromised with the teaching of Islam. A one-world government, a one-world religion will exist at the same time during the tribulation period. I say if because God is in control, and He can speed it up, slow it down, or whatever. But if world leaders succeed with the establishment of a world government by 2030, there will be a world religion by 2030, and a rapture before 2030. If there's a gap of a few years between the rapture and the beginning of the world government, and I believe there will be, time is short indeed. It's important to understand that the New Universal Agenda, a global ethic, common values, world religion, really means forcing everyone on Earth to believe what the UN wants them to believe. That internationalism, globalism, abortion, gay marriage, Chrislam, open borders, etc. are good. But nationalism, patriotism, the teaching that there is only one way to be saved, closed borders, etc. are bad. And that the global ethic must be strengthened and Christianity must be weakened. If globalists think they need to shut the doors of the church and ignore the resurrection of Jesus to achieve this, they will, and Pope Francis did both. New believers will be persecuted during the tribulation period, Revelations 13:7. On April 11, 2020, the Chinese government stopped all online services of churches that do not have a government-approved license. Activities banned by China include worship, prayer, baptism, and scripture reading. Several Chinese Christians were arrested for participating in a worship service from their own homes over the internet using a Zoom app. But China's not alone. In the United States, the coronavirus lockdown has caused many churches to close their doors and turn to Facebook and internet to get the word out. Some U.S. churches have been censored or blocked. Some pastors have been told that worship services are illegal. A few have been arrested. There will be a way to track everyone on earth during the tribulation period, Revelation 13:16-17. Much has been said about Bill Gates' desire to force everyone on earth to be vaccinated and tattooed with a global ID immunization tracking system. It is now clearly being reported that FBI, Apple, and Google and others are involved in the creation of a tracking system. Something to remember about taking tattoos is that they take them and find that they are next to impossible to get rid of. There will be a global economic collapse during the tribulation period, Revelation 6, 5-6. On April 15, 2020, the International Monetary Fund reported that all signs are pointing to a global economic crisis unlike anything that's been seen in decades. Others are saying that the world is going into deep recession, and some oil traders are willing to pay people to take their excess oil off their hands. The tribulation period and one world government will begin when the Antichrist confirms a covenant with many for peace in the Middle East, Daniel 9:27. And concerning President Trump's Middle East peace proposal, Prime Minister Netanyahu wants Israel to act very soon because there's no guarantee that Mr. Trump will be reelected. On April 20th, 2020, Israel's two main political parties agreed to create a national unity government and start implementing part of President Trump's peace proposal as soon as July 1st, 2020. This could indeed speed up some of the prophesied wars and rumors of wars. The one world government will be a satanic, Antichrist-led government, Revelations 13:5. On April 14, 2020, President Trump announced a suspension of U.S. contributions to the WHO for 60 to 90 days for failing to do its job. The UN global organizations are often staffed with political appointees that have impure motives. They definitely are not the kind of people that leaders should choose to rule the world. Concerning the battle of Gog and Magog, the war in Syria, U.S. sanctions, low oil prices, and a spreading coronavirus crisis in Russia is straining Russia's economy. Russia's economic future is looking bleak, and some are predicting that Russia has 1 year at the most to act before her economy collapses. The collapse of oil prices could speed this up. Israel and Syria will get into a war, and Damascus, Syria, will be destroyed in one night, Isaiah 17. Concerning the destruction of Damascus in one night, Syria is allowing the terrorist group Hezbollah to establish bases in the Golan Heights, and Israel's officials said Israel will not allow this. God said, "I will show you wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire, and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come." Before tribulation period comes, Joel 2:30-31. The Apostle Peter referred to this in his famous sermon on the first Pentecost, fires and pillars of smoke before the tribulation period, Acts 2:19-20. In addition to all the other signs that are shaping up, volcanic eruptions appear to be increasing around the world, and God is the only one that could know that would happen more than 2,000 years before it started happening. Friends, Jesus warned everyone about deception in the last times in the Olivet Discourse, in Matthew chapter 24-25. So notice the reality of what's taking place and how every jot and every tittle of Bible prophecy is literally being fulfilled. Do not be deceived by the false teaching that say the prophecy was fulfilled in 70 AD. It wasn't. Ladies and gentlemen, the New World Order is coming, ready or not. And God bless you all. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you wish to donate, donation links will be found in the links below. Please check out our new merch on our website as well. And until next time, God bless you and your families. Thank you.